And then, after the show, he started crying into his hat. I felt kind of bad, but he needs to know. It's got to stop.
Yeah, hats are quite difficult to pull off, aren't they?
No, I mean the unauthorised sponsors. The chocolate bars, the crisps, the lard.
The lard's meant to be quite bad for you, isn't it?
Hello and welcome to Relatively Current. I'm Diane Bird. On today's show, Herbert McCarthy gives us an insight into his televisual viewing habits. But first, I'm joined in the studio by our business correspondent, Teresa Frost. Teresa, welcome to the show.
Hello, Diane.
So, Teresa, I believe you're here to talk about how a shift in audience trends has affected advertising on television and online platforms.
Sure.
Well, go on then.
Well, the thing is with advertising basically is that it's basically global. Advertising is everywhere, right? So it's kind of like the optimum place for people to, get their message out there.
Right, so adverts are a good place to advertise. Is that what you're saying?
Potentially, yes, in a global sense.
Right. So tell us about this shift in audience trends.
Sure. Well, synergetic research has found that the audience isn't, a fixed thing. It's like constantly changing and shifting. And basically it's like, wow, 21st century audience, Empowerment, like totally.
And how has this affected television and online platforms?
Yeah.
Yes, but how?
Definitely. It definitely has, in a global sense.
Right. Do you actually have any idea what I'm talking about?
Totally, of course. TV advertising is like moving online, and the audience is like doing the same thing, following the trend. Synergy. Epic.
Okay, that's not what I was talking about at all, but go on.
Well, basically the thing is, instead of advertisers using television, to advertise, basically they're putting the adverts online instead, like on the internet.
And why is that?
Yeah.
Well, why is it, Teresa? Come on! You're the so-called expert, aren't you?
Basically, it's just like the government. Big Brother?
What?
The economy. Localization.
Forget it. This is ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
Sure.
Is this for real? I can't... Okay. Fine. And now, let's go to Herbert McCarthy. Because, he's a real raving reporter. Ever thought of cracking a smile every now and again, Herb? You miserable butt.
I'm Herbert McCarthy. Things are going on in the world, and just watch. I hate everyone.
Some people say television is dead. These people have obviously never worked on a web show. Unlike the internet, television has a long and almost too credible relationship with information. For example, television informed my friend Phil on the best way to commit suicide. It was also able to inform his parents on the best way to plan a funeral. This relationship between television and information, it is important, but notice my pajamas, the dressing gown, the pizza. I've clearly given up. And like everyone who's given up, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take pictures of myself pretending to have a life and post them on Facebook, and I'm going to review television for the internet. Today, my esteemed guests and I will be discussing Bookmasters. For those who are unaware, Bookmasters is an art show which pits author versus author in a hot and steamy competitive writing environment. Each week, the authors must write a short story which will then be judged by a panel of experts and still a black. the author with the worst story is disqualified while the others move ahead and one step closer to the grand prize, a really, really good Parker fountain pen. This show is, in my humble opinion, the meaning, the definition of entertainment, and it's the only thing I will ever get excited about. So, welcome to the show, my esteemed guests, Diane Bird, Adrian Oranges, Brad Winters, and of course, my useless master's degree in international journalism. So everyone, thoughts on the latest episode? I'll go first. The obvious favourite going to this week was, of course, Philip Roth, but let's be honest, he's had a tough time. Thoughts, Brad? No? Never had an original thought ever in your life? That's a shame, you bearded blue-eye. For me, the star of this week's episode was, of course, Cormac McCarthy, who wrote a lovely short story about giraffes for children. Diane, what did you think of Cormac's children's story about giraffes? In my opinion, it was far too many scalpings for a kid's story. But when have you cared about anyone else's opinion but your own, Diane? Masters in International Journalism. What are your thoughts on the lesser-known writer Harry Keeler? What's that? Getting you was a huge mistake, was it? Was it also a huge waste of my ex-girlfriend's foster parents' money? Yeah, it was. Any thoughts on Harry Keeler, Adrian? No? Any thoughts on anything except for food? I hate my job. I hate my job. I hate my job. I hate my... Oh, shit.
Astounding. This is where our money's going? To pay him to stay at home and bang on about his favourite show? And then completely slag us off?
In all fairness, he totally
Oh, you can pipe down, you brainless tit. All right. Now it's time for the sodding sport and weather.
Totally.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, sorry, Diane. I was just taking a break from reading the latest sporting results and thinking about something sporty. Golf clubs to wet my whistle. Anyway. So fresh, so creamy, so milky. Do you like strawberries? Do you like cream? Do you like healthy bones?
Morning.
Then you'll love Strawbo milk, a delicious and healthy treat. With such high milk content, you can barely taste the strawberries.
Adrian, what about those sporting results you mentioned?
Oh, they were just to wipe up a bit of Strawbo milk I spilt earlier. Now, where did my sandwich get to? I'm sure I left it around here somewhere.
Fine. Brad, weather?
It'll be somewhere around.
Thanks, Diane. For today's weather, I thought I'd do something different.
Oh, what an actual report instead of the usual ramblings of a mental patient.
What do we all love? Weather. What don't we love? Things being late. So what better than an up-to-date weather report? That's right. With my good friend Adrian, I've installed a high-tech webcam on top of the relatively current building. So now we can actually stream live weather right here. Okay, it seems as though we have a dark cloud coming in from every direction. With a mild wind in probably a southwesterly direction. Wait, what's that? What's going on?
Ah, giant pigeon!
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Is this for real?
No, it's just that he was sitting on top of the camera. He's gone now, look. Oh, what's that in his beak?
Well, that's where my sandwich went.
I'll probably call him Terry.
This is the absolute last straw. Milkshake? Pigeons? What do they have to do about sport and weather?
Sporty pigeons?
Raining milkshakes?
What relevance does anything you two contribute actually have?
Well, could I just point out...
No, you may not point anything out, you dim-witted oxygen thief. I'm a journalist. I tell interesting, real stories about interesting, real people. Not piss about with pretentious wannabes promoting their own channels, shops, hairstyles, God knows what else. Bloody pigeons!
Oh, Terry.
And You might be the singularly most incomprehensibly stupid person I've ever met. How do you even dress yourself in the morning?
Come on, Diane, give him a...
And you can talk. You big slimy sellout. I know what you're doing. You're taking money left, right and centre to promote God knows what on my show. Well, that's it. I'm out. This show is careering headfirst into the crevices of the lowest barrel imaginable. And I refuse to be a part of it. So I'm going to take my journalism degree and my insightful questions and my, quite frankly, photogenic face. And I'm leaving. I quit.
That's it for today's show. Join us again on Relatively Current.